Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Star Wars Outlaws. We're going to talk about Ubisoft. And God, their stock is down to $2.24 a share.
Wow.
That's not good. Look at that. Look at that downward trend. If you look at the max here, at one point they were like $25 a share, and we just like kaboom. So yeah, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about Star Wars Outlaws. It's only sold 1 million copies at launch. Now, that sounds like a lot. Like, oh my God, guys, 1 million copies. Well, to put that in perspective, Pal World, which is an indie game, sold 1 million copies in the first 8 hours.
Yeah. A lot of games sell way more copies than 1 million copies. So
Black Myth Wukong sold over 4.5 million copies at launch. Okay.
Yeah.
These are independent games, not Star Wars from Ubisoft.
Right,
so
exactly.
This is bad.
Exactly.
This is not good. This is they bet everything on this game.
But
and
when they start talking about the game and some of the early images that people told them this is not going to go well.
No,
this isn't something people are going to want, and they didn't listen.
No, and then
doubled down.
What they did is
bigots.
Yeah, they started the typical anti-marketing campaign. Right? It's the anti-marketing campaign. You guys are bigots. You don't like strong women. Why do women have to meet your? Oh, hey, the gameplay sucks. Oh, no, you're just mad because she's got a square jaw. It's like, no, people are the game was patched on day one because it was broken on day one, and then people patched the game. They've lost their saves.
Yes,
this is a game that starts at $70,
and that's for the 1 million copies that it sold total.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
or the ones that were bought up to that point that, because when the patch hit, I
mean, it was so bad. It was such a disaster that they pushed Assassin's Creed Shadows back to February. And I have to wonder if it isn't going to be pushed back again, because I don't think this one's ready for prime time. They did not show it at the Tokyo Game Show. I think they're embarrassed to show this game in Japan because the Japanese have very strong feelings about this game. It's a huge controversy. And yeah, I think they're toast. I think this company is definitely, I mean, they're calling for leadership changes. Their own shareholders, their own investors are calling for changes at the top.
But that's okay. The CEO says it's your fault.
CEO says it's your fault, guys. It's all your fault. It's all your fault, guys. So we're gonna talk about this. Before we get into it any further, oh God, what a disaster! Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to clownfish-clownfish-.com. Help support the reef, guys. Your first month is 50% off, and you also get merchandise discounts if you're a member. But of course, anybody can buy anything that we have. We'll take your money. I don't care if your money's green. That's it, man. So let's talk about this. I had a couple people kick me over some links to it. Insider Gaming Network here has this version of it, and I think Vinny sent this to me. I think Star Wars Outlaws has sold just 1 million copies in 1 month since it launched. That's not good. It was plagued with issues, some of which led Ubisoft to make drastic tweaks to it. It wasn't well received by the general market. Gamers worldwide have been giving it pretty low scores. And it comes as no surprise that after an entire month on the shelves, Star Wars Outlaws has sold just 1 million copies.
After a month.
Pal World, first 8 hours, 1 million copies. Indie game, nobody heard of. Company, nobody heard of. 8 million copies. I'm just saying, it's not good. It's not as many sales as Ubisoft expected, which explains the recent comments about the game's performance proving softer than expected. They're not going to tell you that, you're not going to get brutal honesty from these CEOs. They're not going to get up in front of their shareholders and be like, yeah, hey, we stunk it up.
No, here's what he said, actually. In today's challenging market and with gamers expecting extraordinary experiences, delivering solid quality is no longer enough, which implies that you delivered solid quality, which I don't think you even did that.
No, the game was broken.
Right, and everybody lost their progress and everything else. You didn't deliver solid quality. That's the point.
There were all kinds of videos out there about stealth. Stealth was supposed to be a big part of this game, sneaking up on, and it was just broken. The game was broken. The physics were broken. This is a game that cost how many hundreds of millions of dollars to make, and it's broken. So where the fuck is the money going?
Well, not just that. I just think people are over Star Wars. I guess a part of it too. People are just like, I don't really
Yeah, it's a big
care.
part
It's
of
going to be, it didn't sound great. And it's going to be another one of those Star Wars things. And they just didn't want it.
Yeah.
So they're just like, don't care. Star Wars, it's like, you hear Star Wars, you just tune it out now because it's going to be more bullshit.
Yeah, they're like to put into perspective, in January 2024, 3 months after Assassin's Creed Mirage hit the market, it already sold 5 million copies. But that's still, in the grand scheme of things, like compared to these PC games, it's not crazy. So this is coming from WCCF Tech, which is a site with a very long name. But Star Wars Outlaws has only sold 1 million copies since launch, used as a learning curve for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yeah, they're talking it's probably $100-200 million game easy.
It proves softer than expected.
That's what she said.
I was going to say smaller than expected, but yeah.
That's what she said. Softer than expected. But yeah, I mean, it was such a disaster that they pulled out. No pun intended. They pulled out of Tokyo.
It was softer than he said.
It was softer than, yeah. Well, there wouldn't be much to pull out, would there? They pulled out of the Tokyo Game Show. They delayed it to February 14th, Valentine's Day. So
they could disappoint you then.
So they could disappoint you on Valentine's Day with flaccid sales.
You don't want it softer than expected on Valentine's Day. I'm just saying.
Sources have claimed that the team has taken the criticism on board and is now working to address the historical and cultural concerns about Assassin's Creed Shadows. So basically, you're going to have to scrap the game and redo it in like 4 months.
Okay,
right?
so like people were originally upset about the historical and cultural concerns. They kind of blew them off about it, didn't they? Well,
they did. No, yeah.
That guy who wrote the thing that everybody's questioning. Yeah. He said we had different, advisors and stuff that talked to us, and now they're going to have. So basically, they have to redo stuff. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, they said that Yasuke's story is now being tweaked, as well as his portrayal in the game and architectural fixes.
Because they didn't even base it on. Based on China.
There was Chinese architecture in the game. And as far as Yasuke is concerned, like nobody really knows the full story. They know he probably existed, but there is very, very, very little detail. And most of it came from this Thomas Lockley, a white dude who wrote a book like 5 or 6 years ago. And somehow that historical fiction, mostly fiction, fanfic with the Zosi, that became the accepted story of this character. And it's just like it has not been received well at all. And I don't think it's going to sell well. I think what pushed them to push this back is they looked at the pre-sales and they were like, damn, this is going to be a disaster. This is going to be like a couple 100,000 copies of this game because there's so much backlash. And that's it. People, this goes back to marketing and anti-marketing, right? And there's so much anti-marketing being done for these AAA titles. Not only that, but when you get the game's broken. 99% of the time, the game is broken and needs patched. Back in the day, the games didn't get patched. Whatever's on that disc, whatever's on that cartridge, that's what you're playing. Mm-hmm. If they wanted to fix something, it got fixed in the sequel.
Yeah.
So you had to ship something that was pretty much done. And yeah, there'd be occasional bugs or whatever, but now they just don't care. They're like, we can just constantly just, update. Oh, this is problematic now. It wasn't problematic 2 years ago. That's okay. Mandatory patch, and we'll just take it out. Now our boobs don't jiggle anymore.
Well, some games have been adding that kind of stuff back
Stellar
in.
Blade.
Yeah, I saw Stellar Blade was doing it.
Yeah, her titties bounce now. There's squish.
Sorry.
Don't worry. I'm not gonna get it.
I don't care if you get it.
Do you want to get it? You can play it.
I'm not into titties. Sorry.
Well, there you go.
If you want to see bounce physics, I can just do that right now. But
I do like bounce physics. There we go. Assassin's Creed 1776.
Well, we had Hamilton, so there's that.
Oh my God. Yeah, guys. This is a freaking disaster. This company is on fire. There are stories coming out now. I'd have to look into it more, but there are all kinds of stories coming out now about just what a dumpster fire this company is behind the scenes. Then they were going to go on strike in France. They were going to go on strike and ask for more money and better working conditions or whatever. I'm like, you're lucky at this point. You are lucky to have a job at all. I'm just saying, like, they're gonna look at this and be like, oh, hey guys, we gotta lay half of our staff off because Star Wars underperformed. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna be like, Star Wars underperformed. Now we can get rid of the bonehead morons who made Assassin's Creed Shadows just be like, yeah, just wrap that up and you're out the door.
Well, that wasn't much better for the Star Wars Outlaws game.
No. So there we go, guys. There we go. We're going to wrap this one up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.